Morning, you too. How are you guys doing? I am currently in Mississippi, but I'm not too terribly far from Louisiana. Fixing to cross back over. I'm going westbound on I-20. I'm fixing to cross back over into Louisiana, and I'm going to deliver in West Monroe. And yeah, it's been it hasn't been a great week. It hasn't been a bad week. I mean, I'm not doing no complaining. It just, some things happened that kind of irritated me a little bit, and it's just the job, Sometimes things happen that, you don't really think go your way, and it's not really bad, it's just irritating, But I got dispatched to go to Georgia and pick up a load. Alright, well, first, I was taking a load to Albany, and I got told to drop it in the yard, so I dropped it in the yard. And then I got dispatched on another load, and they tell me to go pick this load up and deliver it in South Carolina. Well, I pulled up the information to write it down in my load book, and when I pulled up the information, I noticed that it was 2 or 3 days late on even being picked up. So I looked at the delivery date, and it was the next day at 8 o'clock in the morning. And here it was, at that point, it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. And so I sent a message to the dispatch, and I told them, I said, there ain't no way. This ain't going to make it, I was at the end of my shift. I had 3 hours of drive time left, and about 3.5 hours of drive time left, and I still had some off-duty time, but I had to do, it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I had to do 3.5 hours of off-duty time, plus whatever time it took to get loaded on the load, plus scaling the load out, getting a fuel stop, 10-hour break. It wasn't no way. It was only 5-something hours away, but there's no way. It just wasn't going to happen. So I told him, I said, this is the earliest that the load could be there, but I said that's not taking into account construction, any delays that I might have for traffic. That's not taking into account any delays I might have for getting loaded. And they were like, okay. So I went and picked the load up. Dang it, got my speed up a little bit too high there. I went and picked the load up, and I get there to the place where I'm picking it up, and they've lost my paperwork. They don't know where it's at. So we spent 20-30 minutes, digging around with that while I'm sitting there watching her search for my paperwork, and she couldn't find it. So I told her, I said, look, while you're looking for my paperwork, can I go drop this trailer? And she's like, yeah, go drop the trailer. So she tells me where to drop it at, and I go over there. I find me an open spot. I put the trailer in the hole, slide the tandems back, lock them in place, drop the gears, drop the trailer, pull out, go back around, and there's another couple up there that are waiting on the load. She can't find their paperwork either, so she's searching for their paperwork. And I asked her, I said, "You find my paperwork?" She's like, "No." Now she's searching for their paperwork. And so anyway, I sat there for another 15-20 minutes while she was searching for their stuff. She didn't find their stuff either. And so I asked her, I was like, well, look, can you at least tell me what my trailer is, what trailer I'm picking up? I'll go hook up to it and come back and get my paperwork. So she stopped what she was doing. She looked, to find my trailer, gave me the trailer number. I go back, I located it. It took me about 10-15 minutes to find it. It wasn't where she said it was going to be, so, we had to find my trailer. It probably took a little bit more than 10 or 15 minutes, but, I had to have the yard jockey, help me search for it. Turned out it wasn't even on the line right there where it was supposed to be. It was in the back. So, he went and grabbed it, pulled it up front, and dropped it so that I could hook up to it. So I hooked up to it and go back around and park, and she still ain't found my paperwork. Anyway, by now I've done burned about an hour and a half, screwing around waiting on her to find paperwork, you know, and find my trailer. So by the time I finally did get my paperwork and got got out of there, I had already burned another hour and a half, you know, almost 2 hours that I couldn't afford to burn. You know, didn't affect my clock because I had enough off duty time to burn it, but what it did affect was the delivery time. Alright, so now I'm sitting here with, you know, roughly an hour and 45 minutes on the clock, nowhere to stop for a break. I can't stop there because I'm too far out. I got to get closer. I got to scale the load out, so, you know, the nearest pilot is right next door to the Albany yard, so I go back to that pilot and scale the load out. You know, I get all that taken care of, and, you know, burn that time while I'm sitting inside waiting on the line, like a never-ending line at the counter. Now I get the load scaled out, pull back through the fuel line and pull up, go inside to get my scale ticket. And there's one counter attendant there, one cashier, and about 10 people waiting, and people cashing, com data checks. You know how long that takes. And oh man, it was just a nightmare, man. It freaking midnight, you know, whatever time of night it was, you know, it was late. And by the time I got out of there, you know, I mean, I didn't, you know, I had 15-20 minutes left on the clock. I went and pulled into the Albany yard. You know, I calculated my time. I was still 5 hours out. I had to take a 10-hour break. My 10-hour break wasn't going to be over with until, you know, until like 11 o'clock in the morning now. You know, and so I sent him a message and I said, you know, this is what happened. You know, this load was already going to be late when you gave it to me, and now it's going to be even later. I said, I told you before that the earliest it could get there was this time. Well, now it's going to get there this time. You know, I gave myself, you know, enough leeway for fuel and for one quick break. You know, and you know, and gave them the time. Well, they sent me a message back and said just drop it in the Albany yard. Well, that's what pissed me off. I ain't gonna say pissed me off. That's really not the right, because I really wasn't pissed off about it. I was irritated about it. You know, they told me just drop it in the Albany yard. So all of that trouble, I mean, literally this whole process took me almost 5 hours. All of that trouble to drive 69 miles, pick up a trailer and drive 69 miles back. Shit. 138 miles, you know. 138 miles, the whole process ended up taking me nearly 5 hours, you know. And because of where it's located at, 69 miles takes you about an hour and a half to get there. So that was 3 hours in just drive time. You know, and then when you add the scale and the load and getting it hooked up, you know, it came out to, you know, really close to 5 hours. 5 hours of wasted time. You know, they could have sent one of them regional guys to pick up that load, you know, and take it where it was supposed to go. They could have sent, you know, a day cabber out to pick up the load and bring it back to the yard. You know, they didn't need to send me all the way out there for that. It just irritated me. You know, the load was late. Wasn't anything anybody was going to be able to do about the load being late. You know, and it was late when they dispatched me on it. You know, there was no way it was going to make it work. It was that when I got the dispatch, you know, and so, you know, it's going to be late anyway. You know, I mean, they could have just told me go ahead and run it, you know, but they didn't. So I got pretty irritated about that for all of about 15-20 minutes, you know, and then I was like, yeah, you know, it's just part of the job, you know, that stuff happens. You know, I don't know why they didn't send me on it. You know, maybe it's because they knew that I'd be sitting there on it for a while and wasting time waiting to deliver it, or you know, maybe it's because they couldn't get it rescheduled to their delivery date yet, you know, and they had to wait, so they didn't know when I was supposed to get it delivered. You know, I don't know what the deal was, but then, you know, I got over being aggravated about it pretty quick. And then they dispatched me on this load, so I went to the Miller Brewery just down the street and picked this load up. And now I'm headed to West Monroe, Louisiana to deliver it to a distributor. And I made another error because I guess I was still a little bit aggravated about the losing that last load and wasting the time on it. And I was more concerned with just grabbing this load and getting going than planning out my time. And I've talked to y'all about planning out your time before, so I don't have any excuse, you know. I just wanted to get on the road and get moving with it. So I plotted out my route and then put it in the GPS, made sure that, you know, correlated correctly. And it's pretty simple. It's right off I-20. Get over to I-20, run I-20 over West Monroe, Louisiana, and then the distributors is right off the road. But I was more concerned with that I didn't pay any attention to myself. And so as I'm driving, you know, I glance down at my clock and I see that I've only got about 4 hours left. And I'm 6 hours out from Louisiana from my delivery, and so I know I need to take a break. So I pull over into a rest area and realize that I don't have enough time on my 70 to make the delivery. I've got plenty of time on my 14. I got plenty of time on my 11. I don't have enough time on my 70. So I pull over into the rest area and you know, I go to check it, which I should have done this long before I left. But I go to check it and you know, I've got 2 hours and 17 minutes to get to the final. And I've got 2 hours and 15 minutes on the clock from my 70. You know, I was like, man, I just can't win. So I decided, since I had a parking spot there, I was going to go ahead and stay there for the night. And because there's construction still up here, and I've already run through some of it, but there's construction up here on 20, and it can slow you down considerably. And I didn't want to hit that construction and get slowed down, losing even more time, just so I could get close to the final and then not have a place to park and be out of time on my 70, so I can't find a place. So that's what I was thinking about when I decided I was going to go ahead and stay there. And you know, I should have, you know, that's part of your trip planning is knowing how much time you have to drive. That includes your 70, so that you can plan your stops accordingly. That's the part of my trip plan that I neglected yesterday, because I was just wanting to get rolling, you know. I mean, I don't know, I just thought that I had more time than I had, you know. And I thought I had 11 hours and something, but I don't. So I carried that 2 hours over. I picked up 9 hours, 51 minutes this morning. And so I've got a clean 11 to work with today. I'm going to burn that 2 hours, 17 minutes, or 2 hours and 30 minutes, however long it's going to take to get to the final. And then, you know, I'll go off duty. Hopefully they won't take all day long to unload me. And hopefully dispatch has got something else for me to pick up. So that's the situation. I don't have a pre-plan. We sometimes pick dunnage up out of this place where we're going. So, you know, it's possible that I could get dispatched on that. I don't know. We'll have to see. But, you know, that's the way it is, you know. I mean, that's where I'm at. Oh, Lord have mercy. These roads, they need to flatten them out. Alright, so, today hasn't really been a good week. I mean, this week hasn't really been a good week for my attitude either. I've had a fairly bad attitude this week. More bumps. You know, some negative things have happened in my life, you know, and some of them are my fault, you know. they come back and they, they eat at me every now and again, and this has been one of those weeks, where I'm dealing with long-term consequences of my actions, there's just things that aren't going the way I wish they would go, but like I said, that's life. So what these videos for me are about, is life out on the road, the things that I go through, things that, I experience, the mistakes that I make, the stuff like that, and partly they're for my family, I've had people ask me, they tell me, I enjoy your videos, but, what inspires you to do them? And, it's a little bit of a trick question, because sometimes I don't know. I don't do them to be famous, I can care less about fame, I don't do them to be liked, I don't really care if people like me or not, In one sense, I really love to share. I love to take the things that I've learned and the things that I know and pass them on to other people. I just love doing that. So that's a huge reason why I do it. Another reason is because when I was wanting to become a truck driver, I was doing a lot of research. YouTube was one of the places I did some of that research. There's a lot of how-to videos, how to slide your pendulums, how to hook up to a trailer, how to operate your dog pump, how to do log boats, how to trip land, how to shift. There's a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of inspirational videos, This guy, Mr. Sinister, he's a truck driver coming out of the Bronx, and at least I'm pretty sure he came out of the Bronx. He's a great dude, a great motivator, he's a real positive guy, He's constantly, telling people, that not to pay attention to the negatives, to take the hold of that dream, and move forward, and he's a good motivational speaker. He's a good guy, so there's stuff like that out there, and then there's trainers out there, that'll do videos on how to back, and there's people out there that do videos on how to cook in the truck, and all that, but there's not a lot. And there's a few guys out there that talk about their life on the road, but there's not a lot that that sit down and just show you the day-to-day life. The day-to-day life can be kind of boring. It's not that inspiring. It's not that encouraging. It's just your day-to-day life, a discussion on what you went through that day. Something that you might do with the family at the dinner table. And that's what I always wanted to know. I wanted to know, what is it that truck drivers go through? So that's kind of one of the reasons that I do it. Another reason is my family. Just one of my boys loves to watch these YouTube videos, He loves to watch them, and he'll sit and he'll watch my videos, sometimes over and over and over again, And so it's one of my ways that I can be with my boys, and share with my boys that they can be with me. They get to hear the things that they can't hear at night, when I come home, because I'm not there. So that's one of the reasons I do them. And then one of the reasons I do them is because I'm a leader. I like to talk. There ain't nobody for me to talk to. You guys are it. You guys are the ones for me to talk to. I'm out here on my own, out on the road all day long. Occasionally the wife calls, and occasionally the boys will call and I get to talk to them. But other than that, I'm out here all alone. And it gets lonely out here sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. That's one of the parts of the job, it gets kind of lonely. So one of the ways I can just kind of reach out, is by talking to y'all. Some of y'all may actually care, may actually pay attention. Some of y'all just kind of skim through the videos. That's fine too. So, and then there's deeper reasons why I do it, and I don't really know how to explain those. So, I got a lot of inspiration for doing it. And I got a lot of reasons why I do it. And my reasons are sometimes mixed. That's why I do it. This is my life on the road, and that's what my videos are for, man. This is my life on the road. The good, the bad, the ugly, indifferent, the things that I think about while I'm driving, that's it. So I'm an hour and a half away from delivery, and I think I've rattled on long enough for this video. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here, and I'll try to figure out something to do another video on here in a little bit. Meanwhile, you guys take care. We'll catch you later on. And peace out.